This is Mary at the.meri.atelier, and I am going to work in my September art journal, which still is not bound yet, and today is the 15th. I think I'm going to work on binding this journal tonight. I don't know if I'll put two signatures in it. We'll see. I have been working in this signature, which doesn't have any of the little holes punched in it. And I changed it from postcards. I've been doing some portraits, but not enough of them. So I'm going to work on some portraits. This is my grandfather on my dad's side and my grandmother on my dad's side. And then I have a couple of others that I did in here that's just for fun. I think I got these from Tim Holtz. Pictures, but yes, I do. So let's pick out a sheet here, and I'm looking for another copy paper sheet. I might pull them all out. Maybe I'll just work on this. This is a manila envelope. It's got a little crease on this side. Let's see what else I have in here. Oh, here's what I want to work on. I'll work on one of these. So I'm going to do a quick pen and ink sketch. And last night I was in Rosemary Morris's stream that she altered. Oh, she was doing a embossed technique with glue guns. And somehow we got talking about celluloid. somehow we got off on that topic. Let me fix my camera settings here. I always forget to set my camera settings on, so it'll take a minute for these to come on so that you don't get the autofocus. While it's coming on, I am going to work with my pens, which are falling all over the place. I got out the pens. I threw them over here. What did I do with them? Isn't that something? How can I open a whole new package of pens and they're not here? Hold it. That's not fair. Oh, I put them up here. Okay, they're over here. So I am going to set my autofocus off. If I can get a hold of it here. And shall I leave it about at this height? Let's see where we are here. Yeah, I think I will. Now I'm doing an unlisted stream, and I'm watching on my camera, but I want to go to Wiki Commons. And the reason I was talking about Rosemary Morris's stream is we got talking about celluloid, and I did a wiki on it to find out a little bit about the history, and I found this person, John Wesley Hyatt, who I don't think he was the inventor of it, but he's mainly known for simplifying the process, the production of celluloid. And on Wiki, here's his picture. Now I downloaded it to my camera so I can expand it more. And this is the person that I want to sketch. Yeah. So I'm going to leave my camera out like this. Hopefully that will be good enough. And let's see what I have here. I think just like this will be fine. And I'm using this pen from the dollar store. Actually, it's Dollar General. You get them 2 for $1. And they're pretty much water soluble, not entirely. I have some paint brushes here that I use. Let's pull these out. Yeah. This one to detail with. Kind of the same technique as watercoloring, but not quite. And I might, what happened to my brushy brush? My bushy brush. my bushy brush. That's not it. I must have put it someplace else. You see, I have to hunt for things after I get them out. Oh, here it is. It's right here. This is kind of like a round brush that I like to work on that way. So those are the brushes I'm going to use. I might use some of this sepia ink. So I have that out. Let's put my scissors away. And let's just get started. I don't want to spend all afternoon on this. When I like to relax, I sketch. I like to draw. It relaxes me. Let's see. And I think I will sketch on him on this side and put my phone like this. Yeah. Okay. So I like to kind of observe what I'm going to, before I start sketching it, I like to kind of tell myself what I'm seeing. Of course, I'm looking at an old photograph, so it's got some digital, I see some striping on there, but I think that's more the camera process. He's got a gray suit. It's open and he's got a vest underneath with a button. He's got a black tie, a white shirt, and a shaggy long beard. You can just barely see the tip of his mouth. His beard comes up this way. You can see this left ear. This face is not in a deep shadow, but the light is coming from this direction. He's faced off over this way, 3/4 length view. He's looking out this way. He's got a high forehead, not a lot of hair on top, but some. He's not bald. You don't see any hair over this way. The eyebrows, the ear comes just a little bit above the eyebrow in this case. Sometimes when they have a tilted face, the ear either comes below or above, but in this case, it's just a little bit above. So that kind of tells me what I'm looking at, just looking at it. And the other thing I like to do is, let's take this and see if I can't just kind of prop it up. I don't set my drawing on an easel and try to draw. I just have never done that. It's very uncomfortable for me, probably because I never do it that way. So let's just get drawing. I usually start right in here, but I also like to just kind of imagine, doing an imaginary sketch to get a feel of where the head is going, where the beard is going. So it's kind of coming up in here. The head is kind of coming this way. He's looking that way. And his coat is kind of coming off this way. So let's see if I can accomplish that. Instead of starting up at the head, I'm going to start on his ear. Now, I did snap a photo of my photo so I can expand it. And when I expand it, it kind of pixelated my camera because this is an old photograph. So I'm going to start with his ear. The only problem with doing that is you have to get a sense of how big you want to make the ear. So let's just start sketching it in here. Oh, and these pens, even though they're $2 for $4 pens, they still have the little wax piece on them, which I find as being a very interesting feature for an inexpensive pen. Let me get out a paper towel because I know I'll be using it. Okay, so let's start over here on the ear. And I'm just going to kind of chat while I'm sketching here. After all, I'm not sketching to do photographic realism, photorealism. I'm sketching to relax. I'm sketching just to have fun, but also sketching relaxes me a lot. It's like doing a doodle or working a crossword puzzle or, just sitting down and relaxing. Now, I can see a lot of the ear, the inner workings of the ear there. Now, his head does come up a little higher like that, and his beard comes in like this, over like that, and you can see his neck behind his beard, and you can kind of see where his chin comes behind that beard. So let's get the neck in there. And don't forget, he's not looking that way. He's kind of looking this way. So I sort of want his head tilted. And I'm just kind of, but keep in mind that this is all beard in here. Now, as I said, his ear falls just a little bit higher than his eyebrow. So his eyebrow probably comes right about, starting right about in there. And it's not a big bushy eyebrow, but it's not a little thin eyebrow either. So just about like that, maybe. And then there's not a whole lot of space between his eyebrows. And this one looks off over this way. The eye falls right in here. And notice I'm sketching. I'm not drawing carefully like this. I'm sketching. I'm going like this. And I do like to do that a lot. It just kind of, I do go in, and when I finalize it, I might draw it out a little bit more. But yeah, it's kind of what I do to find my way on the paper. And I don't always get it. Well, I very seldom get it to look exactly like what I'm drawing. But I feel like I always get the personality. Somehow I seem to capture their personality. Not all the time, but I know I've had to sketch my dad several times before I caught him. Okay, so his eyebrow comes in there. His nose comes down this way, and it is shady in there, and his nose falls out in here, sort of like that, and you can kind of see the noses are the things I have to work on the most, sort of like that. And I might have that eye a little too big, so let's make it a little smaller as far as that goes. And this one a little smaller. And also, after I get the eye shaded in, it starts to look more human. With no shading in the eyes, it doesn't look human yet. Now his hair falls this way. He's got in his, let's bring it down a little. He's got pretty high, he's got this beard in here. Let's not forget that. And of course, I moved my phone already. And like I said, he's got a pretty high forehead coming up this way. And you can kind of see the roundness of his skull in here. It's kind of the roundness of his forehead in here. And probably coming around like this, and his eyebrow just kind of falls off, and you cannot see the hair on this side. His cheek is probably a little bit closer, and his beard starts falling off into here. Let's finish coloring in his eye. I bop around on my page when I sketch. As I said, I'm a sketchy artist. I'm not somebody who sits and draws to perfection the first time. I kind of sketch him. Now his beard comes out this way. He does have a little bit of a shadow underneath of his eye. So let's just kind of make some lines. And I'm hoping that this pen will do the shading for me. Yeah, he's got just a little bit of a, and now this, his beard really falls down. I mean, he's got a full, and, but yet I can still see his tie and his neckline here. I can see his chin line here, and I can see his neck coming there, and he's got, his beard is still coming in there. And I can still see that collar, his collar coming down here. Just barely. I can kind of see it. So he doesn't have a thick beard. And it's kind of shadowy in there. And comes up this way, and his hair is all dark in here. Okay. Yeah. Just Make his head just a little bit more round there. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get his coat. If you hear coughing, that's my brother in the other room having his say. Oh dear. Like that. Like that. Yeah, like his tie kind of gets hid by his vest in here. Let me move and his vest comes down this way, and you can see the buttons in here. You can see some buttons, and I don't know if I can get both of those on there. And then his jacket comes this way and this way, and kind of curves in that way. And you can kind of see a smile line there. And then this area of his nose is in shadow. And this whole area of his face kind of is in shadow. So if I can just, and then his ear is too. There. I think I'm pretty happy with this now. As far as getting his collar, his coat comes like this. And see what I'm doing here? I'm just putting in sketchy lines. I'm not trying to do a beautiful, beautiful drawing. That's not the point of this. The point is just to observe, to sketch, and to kind of relax as I'm sketching. Okay, I'm going to take this larger brush. I'm going to put in some sepia ink. But in order to do that, let's get some wax paper here. I have a piece that I had out from the other day. Let's just tear it in half. I don't need all of this. And let's put it here. And make sure my water's at the ready. Let's just line these brushes up over this way. Okay. They shouldn't roll around too much. I'm going to take a little. I spilt my black paint the other day. Now see, my phone flipped. Come on, flip back so that I can see what I'm doing here. Come on. Yeah. Oh. Alrighty. Let's put this back down that way. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see them. All right. Let's put my brushes this way. Hopefully they won't. And I'm just going to get a little water. The water that I'm using is just the water I have in my water jug over there. I'm just going to use what I have. I'm not going to do anything special as far as water goes. I should probably move my phone out of the way a little. Let's kind of wet my ink. Let's start putting in some tonal values here. See how much this. I want to see how much the black ink will run. Yeah, sort of, but not entirely. Well, a little. All of this is in, they've changed the formulation, I think, of this ink. It runs a little, but it's not as juicy as these pens used to be. Yeah, they gotta mess with me. That's okay. They probably think they're doing a service to their dollar store customers. All right. There's some shadowing going on in here. You know, and I really don't need to do a lot to this picture. I just need to put in some shading, and yeah, maybe I'll just put some more sepia in there. And I could get out my watercolor, but I'm not going to fool around with that. Let's just give him a coat here. Let's see. What did I do with the black, though? Did I put it away? Is this it? Let's see. This is indigo. Let's play around with a little of this indigo, which is a dark blue. Mix it with some of that brown and see if I can't get a... And of course, the dropper's not working on it. Keep my phone out of the way. Maybe if I move my inks, move my paper up a little. Be careful that I don't spill it. Now let's just take a little of the indigo and do his suit coat in here. And his, well, he's got a vest on here too. And a tie. His shirt is white. Oops, I got the brown in there. Now that kind of made it a pretty black. I kind of like what's happening. See, when you work, I call my drawings illustrative, which means that I don't sit there and try to get a picture. I think it's silly myself to try to get an exact picture of what you're doing. I do an interpretation, because why try to get an exact picture when you got an exact picture right there? It doesn't make sense to me. Now I mixed a little of this blue with brown, and that's kind of giving me a darker brownish blue black color in here. Let's get my brushes out of the way. And I'm working on copy paper. I'm not working on watercolor paper. I'm working on copy paper. Let's take a little of this and see if I can't just shade in his hair here. We want a very watery effect. This side of his face just kind of shaded in. Shading his mustache. Coming down this way. You can really see his bottom lip. And then it gets lighter up in here. In his eyebrow. His nose. I'm just kind of doing his hair up there. Now he doesn't, like I said, he doesn't have much of this side of his face is showing here. So I'm just going to kind of come in with this dark blue and come out that way. Let's get his... So I'm mixing my brown with my indigo blue to get sort of a dark blackish color. It isn't always working, but I'm kind of doing that on the fly here. Let's just kind of spot his beard in here. I'm kind of rough on my brushes when I do that, but it just kind of makes his hair a little bushy. Yeah, I kind of like that. Now, let's get some more shading, which means I want some really light brown here on his face. Up around in there. And I mean light. Kind of see that yeah, and his neck area in here. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. Now let's go back and shade in his ear a little more. Yeah, I think they've kind of messed with the formulation of these ink pens. They're not as water soluble as what they used to be. And that disappoints me, but oh well. Oh well. Now, how is he looking to me? I'm kind of happy with him. Let's kind of shade in this shirt. Just a little. We just don't want it to stand out. And let's use our inks in here. Just on the background. And let's give it a border. And there it was. I've sketched all of 15 minutes on this since I've gone live. It's been about 15 minutes. So you don't have to spend a lot of time. You just have to let loose and go for it. I just keep going in here on his jacket just to use up my inks. Kind of dab his bushy beard in there and leave that part more or less in shadow. His eyes, maybe a little bit in here, highlight of the page. I think I'm pretty happy with it. I think I'm pretty happy with this. So let's go ahead and dry it and see what it looks like when it's a little drier. It always dries a little lighter. And of course, I always like the opposite side. I'll show you the underside here in a minute. So I might be doing more of these 15 or 20-minute videos of sketches. Now, I know there's another fellow in here I want to sketch. I was listening, like I said, I was listening to Rosemary last night, and we got off on the topic of celluloid, and I looked up the history of celluloid, and this guy, he did not invent celluloid, but he refined the process. It's really quite a process to manufacture it. Celluloid is and was quite flammable, so I think he worked on some processes there to make it not so soluble. Let's sign this in here. Let's sign it here. Yeah. And today is 9/15/19. And let's get rid of my wax paper just because I'm making a mess if I don't. Let's take my phone. Of course, I could come in. Well, I already threw my wax paper away and I already dried this. I don't know if I'm going to get any more shadowing in here on his nose area. This could have a little bit more shadow in his nose. But all right, let's look at the back. Let's look at the back. Look at the back. I always like the back. I always like the backs of these. And I'm leaving the backs on some of these. I'm leaving them alone. I'm going to take my pen here and just kind of give it a shaggy border, a shaggy, sketchy border. And you know what else I think I'll use on this? Holly, bless her heart, gifted me some gold Posca pins. Wouldn't it be neat to put a gold border on this? Let's see where I got that. I saw it here. Here's the one I opened. Not both of them are not opened, but let's see if I can't just. I don't know how much it's going to show up. It'll show up on the darker areas. Let's just put a gold line in there. It's not showing up too good on here because it's gold on the brown, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So there he is. I should document that this is, where's my pen again? Let me get his name right. I put that pen over here. What did I do with it? There it is. His name is John Wesley Hyatt. Hyatt. John Wesley. Wesley. Hyatt. And he is credited with simplifying the production of celluloid. Simplified production of celluloid. And I should put his dates. 11 28 1837 to 5/10 1920. He lived a good long life. There we go. There he is. Let's see how it looks. Let's see how it looks to you. Let me expand my phone and turn around. Whoops. Flip it. Come on, flip. I'm going to get rid of chat. There's nobody in here to chat with me. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Now I can see just by looking in my phone, this area might need to be defined a little bit more. Let's just bring his beard in here just a little, just for... Yeah. And then his lower lip kind of comes in there. And it's dark in there. Let's see what I did. Yeah. And this is kind of all in shadow in here. I'm watching my phone as I do this. Yeah, I think I like that a little bit better. And I'm going to go in search of better water-soluble pens. The last ones I've been using have not been water-soluble, and I've been very disappointed in them. Well, excuse us, Mary. We weren't making it to sketch with. We were making them to write with so that they would be permanent. All right. I think I'm going to quit. So thanks for watching. It was just fun to sit, and let's turn and get his photo out again here. Yeah, whatever I did with it. And I'm going to have to turn my screen off so that I can get a good picture here. So there he is. There he is. How fun it was to do that. So I'm just going to let this go live, and you'll probably be seeing me do more standalone videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next page.